I'm Mike, the Big Cheese.
Sky, she gotta die, you hear what I do, but I'm arrived. On route, the fun of the ring, when I'm in the scene, maybe you made out, you have in the joke. On route, what gives you right, stand up and right, someone room to make some food. On route. Wait, you sing to the highest rate, take it to the hell, just give me the rate. On route, give this bastard up to the mushroom rooms, anybody that moves. On route, the place mine is strong, I'll be looking like the master, right? On route.
All right, welcome back to the Heavy Metal Mayhem Radio Show. It is definitely the dog days of summer because I'm sitting here listening to the music. I'm like, how come nothing on the switchboard is lit up? That's because I forgot to hit the start button. So the first couple of seconds of the show, you didn't hear the intro, but that's okay. Right there, Hallows Eve, there are no rules. Can we please get a Hallows Eve reunion? Can one of these festivals out there try to reach out to these guys and get them back together? Even if it's just 2 or 3 of the key members of the band, I would love to see a Hallows Eve reunion. Enough with Dire Wolf and with the bass records. Let's get this band back together. Those first 2 records to me are masterpieces. Love every song on both of them. They changed a little bit with the 3rd record, and then after that everything kind of went downhill and the band disappeared, but they were one of the best in their day. Hey, we got a great show for everybody tonight. Evo Evans is our guest from Warfare. He's got not a new record out, but it's a 40th anniversary of the Lemmy Sessions with a nice bonus record inside of there. And we're gonna have the links for you to buy it later on. There's not a lot of copies of it left, so get on Evo's website and pick it up. We'll talk to him a little bit later on in the show, but right now we're gonna get to the music. And even though he wasn't as big as Ozzy Osbourne, Paul Mario Day passed away this week, from the original Iron Maiden singer from More and from Wildlife. He sang for Sweet for a little bit, and quite a few other bands over the years. I didn't even know he was sick. He's been kind of low key and under the radar over the last few years, but we lost him this week. So how about we play some More? Then we'll keep the music flowing after that, and hopefully we won't lose anybody between now and next week. That's all I can say. But let me see, what can we play by More? I know I have a couple of songs that I uploaded earlier. You know what? Let's do Road Rocket. Here you go, everybody. More.
I don't care living a borrowed time. humanity and peace. But this plague of corruption returns both you and me. Put your trust in the feeling, put your trust in the faith, because the future's in our hands for the whole human race.
All right, there you go. Paradox with Unleashed. Before that, Obsession, Run Into the Light. And we started things off with more with Road Rocket for Paul Mario Day, who passed away this week. We're going to get to our first guest and our only guest tonight, Evo Evans, in about 20 minutes or so. Until then, we'll get on as much music as we can. We got a great lineup for the month of August. This is the first weekend. I'm just finalizing a couple more guests, either for next Sunday or the last Sunday of the month. So I'll let everybody know. We can always go to the HeavyMetalMayhemRadioshow.com and see a list of all the guests that we have scheduled so far for the month of August. All right. You know, Abaddon wrote a book called View from the Metal Throne. He was talking about that not long ago, and it's in pre-release right now. I think it comes out in a couple of days, maybe this week sometime. I wanted to go and buy it. I'm looking online. It goes for about 24 to 26 euros, depending on where you get it from, which is about 30 bucks here in the USA. Not too big. I pay more than that for a lot of the metal books I buy because I get them from the underground scene. But the shipping, is crazy. It's like 40 euro for the shipping. So you're talking about another $45, $50 to ship a $25 book. So I'm like on the fence about buying it right now. I think Sonic Age Records through their web store has the best shipping available right now. I think it's about 20 euro. So it's still going to come out to about 50 something dollars for the book. But I got to have this book, because all those guys talk so much shit about each other. So I guess we'll start it out with Abaddon, read his book and see where he goes with it. And I know Mantis is working on something also, so we'll get his version of the same stories, and maybe Kronos will give us one also in the future. But that's where it is right now. I'm going to have to just buy it, I guess. I was hoping maybe Amazon would carry it. I get it somewhere on eBay. You save a little bit on the shipping. Even though I don't like buying a lot of the underground stuff from the big sites like that. I like to support the local labels, but the shipping is just so damn expensive. All right, we'll see what happens with that. All right, how about we do some brand new Helloween with Universe? Let me know what you think.
Stars. wait for heavy rain. No place to hide, bringing fear and pain. You know it's not too late. Keep up the faith. Keep up the faith. Keep up the faith.
Life takes its toll, but holds an anchor evermore. We lose our compass in the dark. We take its spark, a star at heart. Life makes us fall, but failure breaks us even more. In unity we bound in space, going on and on and on.
right, Christian wanted to hear Hardline, Big White Bear. There you go, Christian. That's for you. And before that, original. Wait, did I play Original Sin? I don't think so. I think I skipped Original Sin. I wanted to get that on. All right, we'll save that for after the interview. Before that, we did Raven, Rock Until You Drop, and Halloween with Universe, Gravity for Hearts. It's like a 10-minute long song, but a little better than the last one, but it's still not really grabbing me, this new Halloween record. Hopefully the rest of it will sink in. But it's time to get to our guest, Evo Evans. Let's play some Warfare, and then we'll talk to Evo. Evo, can you hear me?
Yeah, can now.
All right, beautiful. You figured it out. That was great.
Yeah, I'm fucking useless when it comes to technology.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't feel bad.
I'm
How
not
are you,
trying to
my
say-
friend? How you been?
Yeah, yeah, I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine.
Oh,
I'm
that's good.
all right when the sun's shining, and it is. So that's much better. So yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, that's good, my friend.
And the new album, Warfare, the Lemmy Sessions is selling quite well, which I'm pleased about.
It's doing great. And on top of that, the deluxe edition here comes with the little bonus record in there with 4 songs in there, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's good. Brand new song, Dance for Tomorrow We Die, and then we've got Cemetery Dirt, and that's Tom Angel, Ripper Out of Sodom, and Fast Eddie Clark and me together. What a fucking noise! Absolutely glorious. And I thoroughly enjoyed doing Do the Robot by the Saints. That was the studio guy just thought, what the fuck is this? The bass was absolutely OTT.
That was a
So,
great cover of that song. Nobody would would do a song like that and make it what you did.
well, we blew a valve up on the Marshall. It was that loud. We were because I won't do it all this digital bullshit. I do it analog, you see.
Yeah.
I do it how heavy metal and punk should be, analog. Fucking bang, right in the bollocks. No fucking about.
Th- th-
Um, yep.
There's a big difference between digital and analog, and people don't realize that. The sounds you used to get when you recorded on 2-inch tape compared to doing it the way it is today, it's like night and day, and it sounds so much better the way you did it.
Oh yeah. I mean the gold vinyl, the way we cut it into that Metal Anarchy, the new one, is fucking awesome. It really it scratches the groove, baby.
That it
Whatever,
does.
whatever that fucking bullshit means, like, but nevertheless, that's what it does. So,
Uh,
yeah, it's pretty mellow sound, isn't it?
it is. It's a great tune the way you covered it. And I was just thinking, it was 10 years ago that we spoke for the first time when you did the record with Algie and you put that record out, Damned on to Death. And for the last 10 years, I remember back then you were like, I don't really have that much interest in doing anything else besides this and Warfare. And then all of a sudden, every other year there's a release coming out or a re-release. So you've been really busy with Warfare
Yeah.
for a guy who says he doesn't want to do nothing again with Warfare 10 years
No,
ago.
no, 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 no. And a bit of good news for the fans as well as the Lemmy Sessions on Cadis record. Um, you never guess what I found.
What'd you find?
I have found the 24 track of Pure Phil.
Did you? Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. Wrapped in foil.
Wow.
Yeah, I found the 2 boxes wrapped in fucking foil.
You gonna do anything with it now?
Pardon?
You gonna do something with that?
Well, I've got this old garage that was crumbling and I had to get out of it. It was a council rented thing. And I didn't know I had any 2 inches. And it's been full of, it had 2 cars and it's a fucking all sorts of shite in it. And I found Hammer Horror on 24 track. I found Pure Phil. So yes, I probably will do it. I'll probably completely tear it apart and remix Pure Phil, the original version.
Wow. That'd be
Um,
fantastic.
It will. So that's one of my next plans. But in the meantime, like I say, this Metal Anarchy, the Lemmy Sessions, is getting just like out of the park, reviews everywhere. So and it should as well. I mean, good God, the man was a rock and roll superstar, wasn't he?
He sure was. But listen, so were you. I mean, people didn't forget Warfare. Everybody remembers you and what you did back then. So that we keep getting these releases from you at, different times. I kind of love it because it brings me back to the old days when you guys were doing this full time. And now we get to relive it again. There's a whole new younger generation hearing this music for the first time, realize that this is kind of where it all started. The punk movement turned into the heavy metal movement and it kind of merged together. And you were one of the first bands mixing both of those sounds, into one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it was, I knew it was original when I actually did it when I was younger, but I never thought to this day that 45 years on there would have been like, a resurgence of the racket that I made. But it's not just me, it's all the bands. It's all the bands.
Yeah.
Venom are selling better now than they ever did. Raven are back in the profile again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands from like the Neat era that are doing it again. But I suppose the three bands with the biggest profile on it were Warfare, Venom, and Raven, without a doubt.
True, but
Um,
when you talk about this record with Lemmy, that Lemmy was behind the controls on it, how did it come about that you hooked up with Lemmy? Because you also had Fast Eddie on there. There were other members that played on the records with you. How did that all come about? Because Lemmy came from the same type of scene himself. Motorhead, I
well,
always considered a punk band too in the beginning.
well, what happened was back then in the 80s, Olgie out of Tank had produced the first album. Olgie went to America with Tank. But I was obviously, everybody from that era was big Motorhead fans. And I didn't really have any plans. I thought, well, I would love one day for him to do something with us, but I thought it's completely out of reach. And I was, Tank came back to England, they just done the Metallica tour. It was 1985 and they were playing Dingwalls, but it was more of a glorified piss up for people in the business. Ghost Girl and everybody was there. And Lemmy was at the bar by himself, and I thought, oh fuck it. But I've always been from the opinion right through my life. Anything you do, you don't ask, you don't get. At the end of the day, people can always just say, oh, go and fuck yourself. Don't be silly. But at least you've asked. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I just went, took his leather jacket, scruffy little bastard I was, and I said, "Hi, Lemmy. My name's Evo. I'm in a band called Warfare." He said, "I know." He said, "I've heard of Warfare." And he says, by all accounts, he said, "I've seen you in the magazines." And he says, "Yeah, you're right up my street." I said, "Well, that brings me to the next question." I said, I figure you're going to produce a second album, aren't you?" He says, "I don't know. I don't know anything about that." I said, "Oh, it's getting arranged at the moment." And he says, "What the fuck are you about getting arranged?" I says, "Well, you will do it, won't you?" "Well, nobody's asked me to." I said, "Nobody's asked me to." I said, "Well, I'm asking you, will you produce my next album for us with Warfare?" And he didn't know what to say. I don't think he knew what to say, actually, because I was so cheeky. And he said, I said, "Do you want a drink?" And he said, "Yeah, Jack and Coke, please." I bought him a drink. And he said, "Put your money away." He said, "I've been there." That's all he said. Like a struggling musician.
Yeah.
I offered to pay, and he says, put your money away. I've been there. That's all he said. I've been there. And I thought, oh, this is looking positive. And I said, "So anyway, you will produce my next record." Oh, he said, "Look, stop going on about that." He says, "See, Douglas, Douglas at the office, don't you?" Which he was referring to Douglas Smith. He says, "I don't see a problem, but," he said, "run it past him. Get your people to run it past our people." I said, "Well, that's all right. So when do we start?" He said, "I haven't said yes yet." I said, "Yes, you have. You just said. So you mind yet?" The conversation went along the lines of that, and me being super keen, as it were. When I went back to Newcastle, I said to David Wood, who run Nate, I said, "Right, get on to Douglas Smith." He said, "I don't know the guy very well." I said, "Well, give me your phone and I'll fucking get on to Douglas Smith." And I remember Douglas saying, I said, "I want Lemmy." I've met him at Dingwalls, and he says, "Hey, man." I always remember him saying this. He says, "Hey, man." No, let me get this right. He says, "Hey, the man's a fucking star, Evo." I says, "Well, I know. That's why I want to produce my album." I said, "I'm not fucking stupid." And he says, "But I knew Douglas because I always used to hassle him when I was
Yeah.
younger. I always used to hassle him for gigs, and then I became friendly when I was in Angelic Upstart. I used to call him for a cup of coffee, and I knew everybody in the Motorhead camp, and it was only a case of like smoothing the financial side, over with him. And David and him did all that, and then the next thing, I got a call, Easy Studios, London, June the something. Fucking hell, we're not even ready. And I said, "Yeah, we'll be there." It's fucking shit, the bed. What's this about? But we were there, and the rest's history. So, and working with him was, a lot of people say, "Oh, you just got him to sell records." But no, I didn't get him to sell records, even though he did. I got him because I loved the band. I loved the guy. I thought the guy was a really nice man. And he taught me loads about vocal delivery, how to write the lyrics in a certain way. But apart from all the logistics, we just had a laugh. We laughed all the way through. And then on the Friday, he gave me a cassette. He goes, "Here, have a listen to that over the weekend. And if you like it," he says, "we'll fucking twiddle the knob." So that was the cassette. And I was, all these years on, there's a guy in Brazil and he's followed Warfare for years and years. He's been there for every release. And I got a thing on Messenger on Facebook. You don't get fan letters anymore. And he said, I'm looking for Mayhem Fucking Mayhem, which is for the listeners, that's the third Warfare album. A nice little ditty it is. And it actually came out in cassette years and years ago. And I knew it came out in cassette intellectually, but I've not really seen it anywhere. And I went up into my loft and there was these big plastic cartons with loads and loads of demos and shit in, and I was scrapping through them, like a fucking dog buries a bone. I'm going like scrapping through, and then I found Mayhem Fucking Mayhem completely all wrapped in cling film, brand new, and I thought, I've got it for the kid, brilliant, I'll get it sent off. And all of a sudden in the corner of my eye there was this cassette, Easy Studios 1985, and it's got written on, "Listen to this over the weekend." Yours, Lemola, he didn't put Lem, he put Lemola. And then I thought, fucking hell, this is the Rough Mixers, this on cassette. So I was more excited about that than finding the cassette for the guy. And I thought, phone Fred Purser. And I said, "Fred, can I come to the studio straight away? I'm really excited." He said, "Well, I was going to lock up and go more." I said, "Please." I said, "I found the Lemmy Rough run through on the desk." He said, "I'll stick around." And it's only like 39 mile away from where I am. And I went up and he said, "How old is this? When was it last played?" I said, "Probably 40 years ago." "Oh my God," he said, "it could have oxidized." And he said, "It could just drop to pieces at any moment." He says, "So don't cross your fingers, or do cross your fingers." So I crossed my fingers and my legs and my arms and strands of my hair as well. And anyway, we put it in and it was crystal, honestly. I said, "Get it into that computer quickly." And there was a little bit on Living for the Last Days that dropped out, tiny bit. I thought, the tape's going to snap. And it didn't. And you can hear his voice, any aficionado who listens carefully enough. When I count in for Psycho Express, you can hear him going, "Now." And there's little bits of thing coming through on the fallback, and you can hear him. And we put it through the computer, and we jiggled it about a bit. Didn't do a lot to it, to be truthful. And we put it out. And it's historical in heavy metal circles, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But Cadis Music, who took it for vinyl, and the guys that took it for the triple CD, the packaging is unbelievable what they've done. I designed the vinyl sleeve. I did all the graphics on the vinyl sleeve. And the gold nugget, the gold vinyl looks amazing, I think. But I think the whole thing sounds amazing.
Yeah, they did a great job on it. I mean, when you get something that old and, especially like on a cassette, you don't know how it's going to be, but I'm lucky that, they were able to do it. And I mean, you got a lot of stuff just lying around that you didn't even realize that you had. I mean, you just forgot about it all over the years, or you weren't even thinking that, hey, maybe there's some stuff in here that I should go look at and find.
Well, I didn't, like I say, I had a hiatus of like 25 years and this shit was just in boxes. So when we moved home about 17 years ago, and I just stuck it all into the loft. And there's more records that I played on. There's vinyls, there's bloody blue vinyls, green vinyls, and I'm not really interested. I don't give a fuck. I've made that many records. It gets to the point like just like reading a newspaper,
Yeah.
It's like one kid said to me once, he said, "Oh, I'd love to have a record deal." I said, "I've got fucking 3, you can have one of mine." I said, "I don't want them." I said, "You have them. You can have all 3.
Yeah.
Having to deal with that fucking set of assholes. No, I just took him in. I took him into one corner, and that was it. And just basically just left them. And it was only when I did the the solo album, the Evo Warfare one that came out on High Roller. That was, when was that? 2016?
Yeah, about that time. Yeah, about 5 or 6 years ago. More
Yeah,
than that,
and
I think.
a bit more, yeah. And I was just, I started taking an interest again. But if it wasn't for the guy, I've got the guy in Brazil to thank for this album. If he hadn't asked for the cassette, it would have probably just stayed up there collecting dust.
Yeah.
And like I said, the magazines are going ballistic over it. Everybody loves it. And if anyone out there hasn't got it yet, Cadis Music, CADIZ, then you want to hurry up and grab it, because that the bonus EP isn't going to be in the next pressing at all. So if you want the bonus EP as well, you better hurry up and get it.
Yeah, and the bonus EP is worth it just for the bonus EP alone is worth buying this if you didn't get it yet, because it's phenomenal, those 4 songs that I put in there. So, I mean, I know 2 of them were older songs and then the ones you just recorded, but it's a great package. And I guess like the $1,000,000 question would be, how much did it cost back then to get Lemmy to come in and produce the record?
Not very much, actually.
Wow.
Not very much at all. 500 quid, something like that.
Wow.
Mine haven't said that 500 quid in 1985. You could have a nice party with that, you know.
Oh, yeah, well, 40 years ago, but that wasn't too bad to get Lemmy in there. I mean, but also, that was around the Ace of Spades time, I think, for Motorhead too. So they were just really starting to take off even bigger than they were.
No, Ace of Spades was 1980. It was 85 when we did this.
I thought this was like 84, 83.
No, it was 85 when we did Metal Anarchy.
I'm thinking of Pure Filth that came out in 84.
That was 84 Pure
Yeah.
Filth. The new lineup of Motorhead, he was just putting it together with Wurzel, Phil, him, and
Filthy.
no, it wasn't Filthy. It was he was a hell of a drummer out of Saxon. What's his name? Help me out. He was in the Glitter band as well. Can't think of his name. Tremendous. I mean, I think. Pete Gill.
Oh, Pete Gill from Saxon, yes.
Pete Gill, and I think he was the best drummer. I think he's better than Mickey D, to be quite honest with you. That's my opinion. To suit the band, I mean, I think he was just thunderous. But anyway, that was the lineup he was putting together. And that was when I first met Wurzel, when he did the guitar on Metal Anarchy for me. Because I remember Gunnar didn't have any guitars with him. Well, to be truthful, we only had one. That's all we could afford.
Yeah.
And then we said, have you got any more guitars in? And I said, no, we've left them. We could only bring one on the train. And he said to me, well, what did you bring the shittiest one for with you? And he knew full well. And he says, I'll get a Gibson up for you. And he sent Wurzel up in a taxi, and Wurzel brought about 3 for us. And when he plugged it in the studio, and he took Metal Anarchy in one and just blasted through it. Tremendous guitarist was my great late friend. And I said, can we just leave that because it's good enough as it is? Yeah, he said, just do what the fuck you want. He says, you will in any case. So he said, you might, if you want it left, just, you all right with that, Wurzel? He said, yeah, just leave it. And that's Wurzel playing on that one. And it's a killer. And I became very friendly with Wurzel, and the new lineup, I think they did Snaggletooth. That's what they were on doing when he worked with us. They were recording Snaggletooth and Under the Knife. They were the 2 songs they were on doing. But then they had to carry on with the record label. They couldn't release nothing for a while, and then they finally did. But that was the period. No, Lemmy was an absolute joy to work with. He was doddle.
Did you try again when you did Mayhem 2 years later, or a year later? Did you try again to get Lemmy, or was it just something that you both moved past that and were looking for different things now?
No, I was just looking for. When that came about as accident, the Mayhem thing. It was I didn't have a bass player, and we had a lot of stuff put down. And Kronos was in the studio at Neat, and I said to him, you could produce my next record, couldn't you? Yeah, he said, if you want me to. It all just, I don't know whether it was lucky or destiny or whatever it was. And I said, by the way, I want the bass playing on it as well. Fuck me, he said. I'll do that for you as well. And we went to Castleford Studios and we did all that as well. and the duo, You Really Got Me, me and Kronos together. It all just sort of, I don't know. It's all in the book. I'm undoing my autobiography at the moment, chapter 23, and it's going to be called Destiny, Dreams and Destruction, the story of Evo and Warfare. So that'll be a cracking read. It's from when I was a kid right the way through up to now. So we've reached conflict of hatred up to now with Warfare. But it goes through the Blood and Major Accident and the Angelic Upstarts, all the other bands I was in. Because my friends, Major Accident, they're actually playing again. They just headlined the LA Invasion, if you look at the Punk Invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, they headlined that. So, and I'm getting absolutely tons of offers now. When are you going to play live again? When are you going to play live? And up to now.
That's what people want to see. They want to see you on stage again.
Yeah, well, I fucking don't. That's what somebody said. Would you be nervous if you went on stage? And I said, I wouldn't be nervous to play. I'd be nervous to what I actually did when I went on stage. Because I wouldn't stand about like an old man, I can assure you.
Yeah.
The piss would flow and the blood would fucking shoot out of every fucking vein. It would be quite a horrible experience for those in the audience. And I wouldn't tolerate all this standing like boring cunts with the fucking phones in hand. Fuck me.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's what goes on today, but
yeah, throw your phones away and get in the mosh pit. It doesn't matter how old you are, it never ends. Once you lose your sense of humour and your youth and the ability to make as much fucking noise and anti-conform as possible, you lose all that, you're fucked.
that's true. With the book, I know you said you're up to chapter 23 or so. I mean, when are you looking to get it done? I mean, I remember 2 years ago we were talking about the book. I know you've been working on it, and there's a lot you got to take in over 50, 60 years of a lifetime to put into a book. But you think maybe next year might be the time that we get the full book? How far are you looking to go?
Got another, got Conflict Zone, Under Hammer Horror, and then the final demise, the Warhead thing with Wurzel and OG. Another 5 chapters and it'll be finished.
Oh, that'll be good.
Need to get a proofread and all the rest, and covers and photographs, and then find a publisher. We need a publisher, obviously, to put it out. But I've never even gone down that avenue yet about finding a publisher. But I'm sure the way the records are going at the moment, I'm sure someone will put it out, I would have thought.
I wouldn't worry about that. Somebody will pick it up. I mean, there's so many outlets out there today. It's not like back in the 80s where there were, Random House, a couple of other publishers. There's so many out there right now. And this is going to be a great read. I mean, do you throw anybody under the bus during this book? Do you like talk shit about anybody?
It's no, it's quite it's one of them page turners, because I start where I fell in love with fairgrounds and I fell in love with music in the early 70s. Well, late middle 60s. There's a lot of kids out there don't know what they want to do when they leave school. I knew what I wanted to do when I was 5-year-old, and that is the truth. Brilliant intellect up to the primary school, and then when I went to the secondary school, I didn't have one bit of interest. I knew that I was going to be in rock and roll, and I knew that I was going to go into fairgrounds, and I've done both. Extremely successful as well on the art. So hard work, both very, very hard work. It's hard graft doing what I've done. I don't mean physically, I mean mentally.
Yeah.
But like I say, as soon as I heard the Small Faces and T-Rex, early T-Rex, I thought that's the job for me. And I left school and I got a job in a garage. I didn't really want to go there, and that was the most depressing time of my life. Honest to God, it was just so boring. And I thought, if this is what people do till they're 65-year-old,
Yeah.
stand it. And then when the boss said to me, I was only young, and he said, "Oh, you've got to sweep up at the end of the shift." Oh, fuck's sake, sweep up. That's really taxing, that, isn't it? And I was sweeping up at the front. It was always about 5 to 5, and we closed at 5 after the laborious session of making number plates and selling fucking carburetors. And he said, "You're an idiot, boy. Look, you've missed a bit. Can you not even sweep up?" So I chucked the fucking brush through the front shop window. I just chucked it, and the whole window just went bang. And when I say window, it was a big fucking window.
Yeah.
I said to him, "You fucking sweep up, daft cunt." You know, that was it, gone. That was it, gone. I just blew. I remember my dad said, "You've got to work your notice." I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "You've got to go back for 3 weeks." I said, "Fuck you as well."
Yeah.
I said, "It's all over, baby. Never work again. 9 to 5, not doing it." Yeah, but it's the usual. "What are you going to do with your life?" I said, "Anything but work in a fucking garage." And touch wood, I've stuck by me guns, and I've never worked 9 to 5. Not that I'm knocking anyone who does it. Don't get me wrong.
It's not for
It's,
everybody.
it isn't. It isn't for everybody. And but yet again, it was sort of knocked out for me, this destiny business, you know. But when I first heard Ace of Spades, I never ever thought for 1 minute that I would get to know them all and work with them. It's an extreme privilege, really. There's not many people do that, is there, really?
No.
I mean, I went to the Capitol when I was like 18, and out of all the millions of kids that go down to the Capitol and think, try to make it, and I came back and I was in the Angelic Upstarts, for fuck's sake. And I used to drink in the ship and go down the St. Moritz, down Wardour Street. I used to see Lemmy quite a lot, but I didn't know the man. Didn't know him. Didn't even say hello to him. Well, I was in the same pub, because he used to go in the ship all the time back then, before he went to America. And like I say, I used to love the band, but never ever thought I'd get to like sort of be that close. And we kept in touch all them years we kept in touch. But the last time for Lemmy, was it Bradford? He's sitting in his underpants with his bullet belt on, with a t-shirt on, and he's stuck. No Jane. And do you want a drink? He always said, "Do you want a drink?" I thought, oh no, he's the Jack Daniels coming out.
Yeah.
And he got a bottle of red wine and he just drunk it like it was Lucozade. And then he turned around to me, he says, "Oh, fucking doctors," he said. "They've said I've got to quit drinking. I can't drink the Jack Daniels, but they said red wine's good for me." I remember him saying it.
There
"But
you go.
red wine's good for me." I said, "Yes, a glass occasion, not a fucking bottle of it." We used to have a good laugh, honestly. Not a bottle. Fucking hell. Yeah, full bottle.
And that's what you're going to remember later on. You know, Lemmy went out the way he lived. You know, he played up until the end. He put music out up until the end, and then he was gone when his time came. And it's been about 10 years now. He passed away just about 10 years ago. But he lived the rock and roll life, and he died the rock and roll life. And in the end,
Yeah.
many, many years from now, when you and I aren't here anymore, people aren't going to say, you know, that garage floor was the cleanest floor I've ever seen in my life, thanks to Evo. They're going to say, you know what, Metal Anarchy, you know, Death Vigil. They're going to talk about all the music you made. And that's what they're going to, look, we just lost Ozzy this week. I mean, you know, look at the legacy he left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, the streets of Birmingham, bloody hell.
Yeah.
I don't think George Harrison got that. Which is good, because it means metal's right in the foreground again. I mean,
Yep.
things come round, obviously, but I never thought for 1 minute, Mike, that the stuff I did when I was 21 would be sought after now. Like I say, that gold vinyl one, it's gone through the roof, and I'm so pleased, really. It's but having said that, we've put a cracking package together, haven't we?
You did. It really is a nice job.
Yeah, I was offered a gatefold, and I didn't want a gatefold because I've had several. I wanted it to be like it would have been back in the day, because everybody had inner sleeves, didn't they? There was very few gatefolds apart from Thin Lizzy and the like. And I like the way I've got the two inner sleeves in it. But like I said, anybody who's into that sort of, stick to the wall, real intense heavy metal, Metal Anarchy, the Lemmy sessions, especially on vinyl, you're going to have to grab it. I know I'm plugging the fuck out of it, but once you get it, you'll be a Warfare fan, I can assure you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was a great record when it came out. Hearing it now, like this version of it, the songs the way they were recorded with Lemmy is even better. I mean, I feel like we're getting two different records in a way.
Well, it is. actually what it would sound like actually in the room. It was just raw. It was how we played it. I always remember it was a big black drum kit. It was hired from Pete Weber Music in Croydon. The back line was hired. It was all Marshall, and we just plugged in. Our guitars were shite. Everything was shite really, but we were just three kids who didn't have very much, who said fuck you, and we just went for it. And by listening, you can tell that. And Lemmy, I mean, king of rock and roll as far as I'm concerned, he liked it. He put his stamp on it, but he championed it, which was like, well, it's a very nice situation to be in, you know. When Lemmy says, you know, this stuff's brilliant, it's like, fuck me, that's cool, that. And I remember going up the pub with him and stuff and drinking JD. I don't know whether I even liked it, but I was only a kid.
Yeah.
But we were drinking heavy, but he was on his fruit machine. Looking, have you ever had a go of this fruit machine? I said, I grew up with fairgrounds. Dozy bastard. I said, of course, but I'm not. I said, I'm not fucking interested in fruit machines. I said, I've seen thousands upon thousands of fruit machines.
Yeah.
So you get on with twiddling with your fruit machines, and I'll just drink the bar dry. Thank you very much.
And he still kept doing that up until the end. When he was out, you know, when he was here in America, out in California at the Rainbow, he sat there every day doing that.
Well, a few years ago, I got interviewed for, is it NAC Radio, KNAC?
Yeah.
By a guy called Will, and I think he does the DJing up at the Rainbow. And we did a photo session up there, and I sat actually in Lemmy's seat, and he put the computer, his little computer fruit machine, and he put it on, and I sat in his seat, and I had a pint in his memory. That was before they built the statue.
Yeah.
And if you look online, there's a few photographs of me sitting in his chair, and it was nice. It was a nice thing to do. Yeah, it was a nice thing to do. One girl said, "Did you ever meet Lemmy?" I said, "Slightly." Yeah. And Will said, "Hey man, he fucking worked with him."
Yeah.
he drank with him. He worked with him. And people find it hard to believe because I think he became bigger, didn't he, as the years went on?
Absolutely. He was legendary towards the end.
Yeah, his profile went through the roof, didn't it? So, I mean, he was still a big rock and roller back then. But he was sort of, the glory years were kind of waning, weren't they, a little bit? You know, they'd done Iron Fist and they'd been massive, and then they were coming down a little bit, weren't they?
It was changing the times, changing the lineup, you know, everything was happening, but it built up again as the years went on, you know, when people forgot about all this great music in the 90s and it started coming back a decade after that, everybody just was at another level, you know, everybody was elevated.
Lemmy always said to me, mind it, many bits of advice, but he said, when you make albums, and he says, you get recognized and everything, he said, the worst thing you can ever do is believe it. He said, once you believe it, he says, you're fucked. He says, just keep your feet on the ground. He said, believe in yourself, but never believe it. And I thought, that's what good advice that is. He said, you're just Evo, I'm just Lemmy. And he says, John Lennon's just John Lennon. Don't believe it. Believe in it, but don't believe it. What advice is that? It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why Lemmy was very approachable. I mean, a lot of people thought he was this icon. I mean, to a lot of people, he probably was. But he always made the time, always, to talk to people. It was the same as when Warfare were at the height. I remember getting rung off the security because we're in Frankfurt, and I'm sitting in the car park with all the fans, bag of fucking chips. And I was sharing my chips with them all, and they're all mobbing around me. Not to get my chips, I had, but I wasn't bothered. I just thought, well, it's them that's put us on the stage in Frankfurt in the first place. So if I can't share my fucking chips with them, who can I share them with? So I didn't give them no salt or vinegar, though. I took that off before I fucking finished eating. It was a 3-course meal, really.
Yeah.
You and say salt, vinegar, and chips, please. 3 courses. So, no, good fun back in the day. It was. And when I listened to this, the the Lemmy sessions, I just think to myself, Jesus Christ, it still stands up today. I know that's a cliche, but the music does stand up. You listen to it and then you think to yourself, were we really that loud? But even the new stuff's louder, isn't it? If that's possible, but it is.
It absolutely is. I mean, that's what Warfare is all about. That's what you about, being loud, crude, rude. I mean, musically, not personally, but that was the whole vibe that you guys were giving out, and you've kept that through the entire career of Warfare and everything you've done as Evo.
Yeah. I just do you know, rock and roll is more attitude than what is the ability to play. Does matter up to a point, but it isn't imperative. If you look at everybody who's got record deals, it's not about how much you can twiddly or how many paradiddles you can do or bass runs. That's all bullshit, man. It's about fucking attitude. It's street. That's what I call it. It's street. Rock and roll is street. It is. If it fucks your parents off and it gives you profile and makes you believe in yourself when nobody else will, that's rock and roll. That's what it's about.
That is what it's about. Evo, we only got like 2 minutes left because they only give you like a 40-minute thing on Zoom over here. It's terrible, but that's all they allow you. Then they're going to cut us off in like 2 minutes. So,
2 minutes?
Yeah.
Minutes to, boom!
Yeah.
We've only got 2 minutes and that's the end of the
I know. That's because I'm too cheap to pay for the premium service because I don't use it enough. They only give you 40 minutes for free. But, everything you've always done over all these decades, I can't believe that we go that far back. I mean, with Warfare and what you've created. Closing in on 50 years when you think about it soon. It's just unbelievable. But the Lemmy sessions, and especially the deluxe one, that with the bonus record in there, people do have to buy this. And the best place to get it is to go to your website and pick it up, right?
Well, it's just Cadiz Music, C-A-D-I-Z, Cadiz Music. So bag a copy now before they're all gone, because I've only got fucking 2 seconds left now.
Nah, you got about a minute, but we're getting close.
This tight American cunt won't pay for premium. It's just
I can't help it. I'm cheap, but
I tell you what, man, I wouldn't share my chips with you.
I know. Listen, I think if 40 minutes of talking to you is enough, so I mean, I think
I'm sure. I'm certainly sure.
Hey, listen, the book is going to come out probably next year, I would think. And when it does come out or the next one comes out, we'll do this again and I'll pay for the month. That way we can talk longer.
Yeah, we can do premium. Excellent.
That's right. I'll pay extra money to talk to you the next time.
Cool. You take it easy, Mike.
You too, my friend. I'll talk to you real soon, Evo. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, take it easy. Bye-bye now. Everyone's talking with the robots. Your mother won't
We actually played that song last week, so I'm not going to play it again. But Evo is a character of all characters. I love that guy. We've been talking for about 10 years now. Every time he has a new release out, like I was saying during the interview, the first time I spoke to him, I said, people want Warfare. They want to hear more Warfare. He goes, I'm not really interested in it. I don't think I want to do anything with it. Then 10 minutes later, there's a record release, another record release. But thank God, he's still putting out new music, and he's finding all this old stuff that he's re-releasing. So it's just a fantastic thing. It's funny because he sent me a copy of a vinyl copy of the new record. So I took a picture and I sent it to him with me holding the record. And then a day later, he's like, "Did you ever get the record?" I'm like, "Just look above you. There's a picture of me holding it." He's such a character, that guy. I love him. All right, let me see. What do we got now? Hey, next week on the show, we got another good friend of the show, David Reese from Bangalore Choir. These are guys that I could talk to for hours, but you know what it is? Ever since Skype went out of business, everybody's using Zoom now. And I don't have a premium account with Zoom, so they only give you 40 free minutes. And they always say that you could extend it, but I can never figure out how to extend it. I think you got to generate a new link. I'm just not good with all this computer stuff. And I think Zoom is like $15 a month, and I don't use it enough at one time to keep paying for that, So, what are you going to do? We have to limit them to 40 minutes. But David Reese next week of Bangalore Choir, and I believe it's either Steve Grice from Insult or Mark Bowles is going to be on the show. I haven't figured out which one is on next week yet. We're trying to work out the details, but we either have Mark Bowles or Steve Grice. So tune in next week. And there's going to be 1 week where we're not going to have a show. I think it might be Labor Day weekend. I might actually go to the Rage of Armageddon Festival that day. But the week before that, my wife and I might have a weekend trip. So whichever one comes up first, the other week we'll have a show. All right, what can we do for everybody right now? We already played that. You know what? Before the interview, I wanted to play Original Sin, Calm Before the Storm. I thought I did, but I didn't. So let's get that on right now. This is the UK band. They were formed in about 79. I think they had one single out and maybe one other demo later on. But after the mid-80s, nobody ever heard of these guys ever again. But I thought they were a pretty good band, especially for a band that came out in the late 70s. So let me know what you think. Original Sin, Calm Before the Storm.
We have fallen to our knees too many times in defeat. We are constantly under attack. But no more shall we kneel to the flesh-colored steel. It is time to stand up and fight back. We will not be denied. We will swallow our pride. We will fight for what's just and is free. We'll send light to the ways of all those dark days. It is time for our eyes to see. They say no, but I say yes, I can. Nobody's a robot, no, I'm nobody's man. I want freedom, I want there to be a future for you and a future for me. I don't want no yesterdays, forgotten promises, no more easy ways to talk me out of this. I want it fast. I tell you, you've been wrong. This is the calm now. This is the calm before the storm. It is time to stand down, hold your ground. Shout it out now, shout it loud. I want freedom, I want liberty. A future for you and a future for me. I don't want no yesterdays, forgotten promises. No more easy ways to talk me out of this. I want it fast. I tell you, you've been wrong. This is the calm now. This is the calm before the storm. Before the storm. she were really mine. If I destroyed those I think for mankind, struck by lightning, shot them from midnight to dawn, waiting for a storm. Struck by lightning, shot them from midnight to dawn, waiting for a storm. She wanted lightning, she got some. In 22 years she never Walking on the road, I couldn't believe my eyes. 13 hungry beggars, full pockets, manna from the skies. Pretending
All right, Saxon Power and the Glory. The other day, somebody was talking to me about U68, which was a UHF channel here in New York, and they went metal for a little while. They had a lot of metal shows in there, and I remember the first time I was able to get it with the rabbit ear antennas and a little bit of aluminum foil. The first video I saw was Saxon Power and Glory, so I figured I'd get that on there right now because I was reminiscing about it, thinking about those old days in the late 70s, early 80s. Hey, I just saw one of my childhood crushes just passed away a little while ago, Lonnie Anderson from WKRP in Cincinnati. Boy, I had the hots for her back in the day. My all-time favorite was Olivia Newton-John, always will be. But, Lonnie Anderson was the second place, so she just passed on. We're losing everybody lately. We're all getting older, but, God is coming for us next, so we better enjoy life while we can. All right, before that, Vatican, The Power Lord, Born of Sin, and then Von Helsing Possessed. I forgot to unmute the microphone. You have to forgive me today. I am exhausted. I had all three of my grandkids here today, right up until showtime, so I'm kind of out of tune and out of touch right now. But Von Helsing was a band that featured Anthony, the bass player from the Brooklyn band Chaos that I played a few weeks ago on the show. And he also played in Primal Scream with Keith Alexander from Carnival, another great Brooklyn band from back in the day. This was their band Von Helsing. I'm trying to find a few members. I think I got in touch with a couple of guys from the band. I'm seeing if I can work it out to get an interview with them. I'll find out soon. But we're going to wrap it up here tonight. I want to thank Evo, like always. He's always a fun guy to talk to. Next week, David Reese from Bangalore Choir. And I believe it's going to be Mark Bowles or Steve Grice from Insult. Mark Bowles is playing with Reign of Glory right now. A great band featuring my good friend on drums. I'm looking forward to hearing them, Jeffrey McCormick. So let's wrap it up here tonight with some Heaven in the Beginning. I will see you guys next Sunday night. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.